But basically, the main thing I do is I don't overdo the effects chain. A lot of people think stacking effects and sirens and a lot of white noise, a lot of people think that's it, but I actually think backwards, because if you're stacking a bunch of sounds, all these sirens, one's on G, one's on F, etc., you're going to get this weird tonal effect, and in the end, that's actually losing energy because you're just stacking way too much stuff. So once you get to that drop, the listener goes it goes bland, because there's just too much going on in the build. So mostly what I do is I actually bus out my effects to a separate channel, and I actually high cut, low cut those, or put an S1 imager on them to kind of make the effects change away from the overall master forever, what else is building around it. I recommend always bussing the effects to control them a little more, because if you kind of high cut effects as it's building up, eventually once the drop hits, it's going to have a much more impact because you're not overloading the build up, So it's something a lot of people I talk about, artists I talk with, they actually look past that. They forget about it because it's a simple mistake. Because you're sitting there just stacking effects on, and you think you're building tension, but in the end, you're kind of just creating chaos, I think. So yeah. Long story short, basically keep it simple. And the one thing I always use is a master automation with the overall volume. I actually start dipping out the volume in the buildup 1 to 2 dB. So once the drop hits, I completely slap it right up to 0 dB. So it has a very big emotional hit, but really it's all at the same level. You're just kind of tricking the listener in a way,
Yeah, I use that as well. It's an awesome technique.
Yeah, it always works. As long as you can do it subtle and kind of clean with not overdone, you can really make a great dramatic, emotion to the drop if you can do it right.
Absolutely. And I think that's what you said about stacking and bussing. I think that's a good point, because it's very easy to fall into that mindset of, if I add this, I'll add more tension, or I need another riser here. And so you end up having like 5 different risers, which is just a mess. So really good point. I wish more people would take note of that.
Yeah, it definitely is. It'll make a big difference. Just the whole thing's simple, keep stuff simple. It always works out.